Welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It is Monday, April 8th. I think everything's working right. We are here live, by the way. It is a free-for-all. We're going to open the phone line, so hit that call now button on your app and jump in here and join us. Or you can dial 855-950-3835. About 10 minutes before we went live, I reopened an app. I reset everything on the computer, and I forgot this laptop had that program set to automatic updates. So it was doing an update with about 30 seconds left, and I think I got everything fixed and set right. There's a call coming in. We should know there pretty soon. Looks like I've got audio flowing in all directions. We are on the live stream. We're not on YouTube today. I started broadcasting live to YouTube last week, and I've already been spanked twice, and we've been taken off the air for 7 days, I think. The funny thing is they went back and reviewed old videos. I think one of them was all the way back at 2018 and then several from 2022. So it's very possible they may just delete our YouTube channel before we get a chance to fix it. So we're trying to work on that in the background. Instead, we are going to, we'll try to stay on YouTube if we can. In fact, we decided not to broadcast the Wednesday show on YouTube if they let us back, because it seems to be medical misinformation they keep deleting our videos for. We are also going to set up a live stream to Rumble, which is the conservative version of YouTube. It's just a little trickier. We got to get the programmers involved in that one, but we are getting ready for that. All right. A couple things I wanted to go over. We've got some calls coming in, so I'm going to get to those in just a minute. Go ahead and jump in and join us. Today might go fast. I may wrap this up in just an hour today, so you should probably jump in as soon as possible. Let me, getting messages here. Let me check. Seems like we might have audio everywhere. We'll try a phone call and see what happens. I need to go in and turn off all those automatic updates. That does not work well when it updates minutes before we go on the air. Let's, you know what? Yeah, let's go to the calls. Let's make sure they're working so I know what I'm dealing with today. And I'll come back to this news if I need to. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Brian, welcome to the program.
Hello, Kevin. How you doing?
Oh, well, good. I can hear you, and you must be able to hear me. That's a good sign.
Yep. I can hear you just fine.
All right. What's on your mind today?
Well, I've been thinking about getting a different truck. Currently running an older Peterbilt flat top. It's a 03. You know the scenario, the cat engine, and so on and so forth.
Okay. What year and how many miles?
It's actually it's 03 with 700,000 on it.
Original?
I have excuse me.
Original 700,000 original miles?
Yeah, that's right. I'm the third owner. The original owner had a small fleet, and this was his personal truck, and he just didn't drive it a lot.
Got it. Now, so, I heard you say
it's in very good
rebuilt it?
It's in very good shape. Yeah, I had to do an end frame.
That always worries me.
Well, I did that that's a couple years ago.
Now, it worries me that it happened so early.
Excuse me?
Well, it worries me that it happened so early, so few miles on that engine. Those engines typically go 1.2, 1.3.
Yeah,
you must have been around 600,000.
What happened, Kevin, is apparently somebody had run it hot.
Okay.
And it was the typical Caterpillar. The head was cracked, and it dropped the liner.
Got it.
So
okay.
I could have got away with just probably doing a head and maybe a different spacer.
Yeah, but, I got it. Okay.
I went ahead and I just went ahead and rebuilt it at that point. So, but my fuel economy, I pull a dump trailer around Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, a lot of Virginia, so on and so forth.
Okay.
And of course, my truck's a long wheelbase truck, and I got a big gap, my sleeper.
Well, I'm expecting that in that area, you're probably getting about 5.5.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say I'm at 5.5.
That's what I thought.
Maybe pinch it up to 5.8.
Right.
But that's the best I've ever done. But on the other hand, I'm like an 80% loaded ratio, so I'm loaded pretty much all the time at 80,000 plus.
Well, and that's a tough environment. It's a lot of those short, steep pulls over and over and over. Not a lot of flat land.
Oh, yeah.
But
right.
I will tell you, with today's
right.
technology, 8.5 would not be a stretch.
Well, and I was thinking, I'm trying to be conservative on that and say 8. I'd like to get a truck that would get 8.
Yeah,
so,
and that's a good goal.
With that being said, I got some trucks I've been looking at online.
Okay.
Got some information on them. It's just a matter of whether I want to pull the trigger on them or not. One of them is a Volvo mid-roof, so it fits my trailer nice. It's shorter wheelbase, 455 with the 12-speed, but it has 264 gears. So I didn't know with the Volvo how that would work.
What year was that?
It's hold on just a second. Yeah, it's a 2020.
Is it a TC? Do you know?
No, it's not. It just says XE.
So okay.
But it's 4.25.
Uh-oh. I think I lost you. Brian? Uh-oh.
There.
Oh, I think we got you back. Try that again.
Yeah.
I just heard you starting to say it was a 4.25, maybe?
Yeah, it's a 4.25. It says XE, high torque.
Okay, so what transmission?
Well, it just says 12-speed. So I don't know if that's an overdrive or whatever.
Yeah, well, and we got to know. I mean, we got to know all the details on these trips. It's getting more and more important that we get every single detail because it's minor changes that could make us go, nah, let's pass that when there's going to be something better.
Right. It's a 264 rear. I just don't know if it's an overdrive or direct drive.
And what I'm trying to say is every detail matters now. So we really, if we want to run a down sped, we're really looking at the TC. We won't down speed the non-TC quite as much. We won't be able to get that 3 highway gear range without going to a 14 speed. So it really depends. Right. I mean, on the surface, this truck sounds like it would do significantly better than you're doing now. But a lot of it would depend on the speed and what transmission. If that is a 264 direct, you're going to be really limited on speed, like 60 or under.
Right.
If it's a 264 single overdrive, I can't answer your question until I have all the details.
Well, what I'm saying is if it says it's an overdrive, that would be better.
But I don't like doing that because, then you find out, yes, it's an overdrive, but, I forgot we didn't know this. So really, for one of the things we're doing more and more of is making specific truck recommendations on the coaching calls. Because I have more time to say, get me the VIN on that truck, then I can make sure that all the details are correct, and I can have some time to say, well, here's your operation, here's where you want to drive. You want to be able to do, 65 most of the time, but 72 or 73 once in a while because you got to make up time. And then all of these drivetrains and trucks are getting so proprietary that we have to just take more time and look at each setup. So I can make some general recommendations here, but I don't want to be the one to say, yep, that's the truck you want. In fact, I don't think this is.
Right. Well, that's kind of my question, and I kind of knew that you would say that. I just wasn't sure about the overdrive and the direct drive thing with the 264. So
Well,
I figured
we can't
wouldn't
know.
want to be a direct.
That's why we have to get the transmission serial number, the VIN number, so we can verify what transmission that is. Now, it's possible it might be what you're looking for, but I don't even want to try to guess because all I would be doing is guessing.
Right.
I don't like to guess
Well,
here.
and then the other thing I was looking at was actually I've been looking at the Mack platform and the Volvo.
Okay.
There's a couple Macks out there that kind of grab my eye.
So here would be one question before we even talk about that. Have you checked around locally? Do you have a relationship, or are there shops that you've reached out to? Because it sounds like you're a PACCAR guy for a while. I would go visit the Volvo shop and the Mack shop because that could be the deciding factor. Those two are.
To be truthful about it, I actually got a better relationship with a Mack dealer locally than I do the Volvo.
That may be the reason to go with the Mack then.
Right. Well, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've had Kenworths and Peterbilts, but I've also had a lot of Macks and Internationals and all that sort of thing, too.
So if you've got a good Mack dealer, we can build the same kind of setup in a Mack. Or find it. There's a ton of them out there.
Right. But the Macks I'm looking at are 20s, 19 or 20s. And the one in particular was a 500 horsepower, or what they call 505.
Don't worry too much about the horsepower. That can be changed. They can be tuned. So more important are the driveline facts right down to the last detail. And it doesn't sound to me like you have those on any of the Macks either.
Well, in the Mack, I don't have. Well, it's a 12-speed. Of course, they don't tell you what transmission, but it has a 308.
Well, Brian, you're not listening to me. I can't guess. If there's one fact missing, I'm not going to guess.
Well, no, I'm not. I know that, Kevin. I'm just telling you the trucks I'm looking at, the information I already have. I know that I don't have all the information.
Well, then let me ask you something. No, hold on. Because I'm not trying to pick on you or be argumentative. I'm just trying to make sure I give people the best service I can. If I'm saying I can't make any recommendation at all unless I have all the details, and you keep telling me about trucks, what's the point? I don't understand. Is there a question here?
Well, no, I'm just letting you know, Kevin, the trucks I'm looking at. I ain't making no decision.
Okay,
I'm just letting you know the couple trucks that I've been looking at.
So let's go back a step. That's great that you're looking at those trucks. Before I can help you with anything, I have to have all the details.
Right, I got you.
VIN number.
I didn't know. I guess I didn't, or I do know. I mean, the fuel advantage would be enough to make that decision to buy the truck. It's pretty much going to be a money swap as far as truck for truck.
That's excellent. That's insane to me that you're going to be able to take an 03 that is just horribly spec'd for anything fuel mileage-wise or maintenance cost-wise, and you're going to be able to swap it even for a modern 2020 truck that probably will get at least 2 miles per gallon better if we screw it up, and potentially 3 miles per gallon better if we get it right. That's the good news.
Well,
that's awesome.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
So then all we need are details, and I can help you.
That I can do that with a late model truck.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, these trucks still hold their value up there pretty good.
I see the old classics holding their value. I just don't understand why. And here's the other thing. People are going to start making huge mistakes again with trucks. I've seen people say, oh, my God, why would you ever buy an aerodynamic truck now? Because the Classic holds its value so much that you could never make it up in fuel. Well, of course you can. They're not even doing the math. But I have watched the truck market for 30 years. Resale value to me is a losing game. To try to run a trucking business on resale value of your equipment is insanity, because I've seen the price on those trucks tank. They haven't always sold for that kind of inflated premium, and they probably won't always. So to me, you just take resale value out of the mix. If you get lucky, like you are now, you're in a good situation where your Classic did hold its value and the good, modern, aerodynamic, efficient trucks didn't. But that could change in 6 months. So I still like to put that out there.
That's part of the reason why I've been thinking about doing that is, it kind of bothers me. I don't know how long the Gov is going to let us keep running these older trucks emission-wise.
So again, let me address that. I don't worry about that. We have never had a single case of the federal government telling you couldn't run a truck you already own. There is no reason right now you can't run a 1957 Marmon. There's no other than in certain states, and we know we have to deal with that. But I don't worry about the federal government coming in and saying mechanical engines have to go or early emissions have to go. Or there's not a single bill that I'm aware of. What they are doing, and I was going to talk about it today, is they are pushing new EPA standards again for new trucks. And I think that's all they'll ever do. They'll just keep pushing new standards on us for the trucks that are built, and eventually most of the old ones will go away anyway. But there's no reason in today's world, and especially at today's prices, not to modernize up to a truck that has, honestly, it has much better fuel economy potential, and we are operating these trucks for less per mile on maintenance than you can that old truck, even with all the emissions and all the other stuff on there.
That's the other part with this truck is my maintenance cost is high.
Right.
I mean, it's just higher. I already know that.
Yeah, it's just getting to that point. So, all right, Brian, you're on the right track. Keep looking and call me with some specifics, and we'll try to do the best we can. Like I said, I'm really starting to prefer to do truck buying questions on the group coaching where I have plenty of time to look at all the details. I have people now, once in a while I get somebody that wants to spec a mechanical truck for something local. Then we have the early emission trucks, the pre-emission early electronics, then the early emissions, then the 2010 through 15 stuff, and now the new modern stuff. And everybody's proprietary now with their own transmissions, their own differentials. We've got international getting back into the mix. It's just too easy to make a mistake on a truck spec question like that. Let's go to Las Vegas this time. Ron, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin. How you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to talk about Matt's and my vet and how much fun I had. How did it go for you? I got off easy there. I guess I kind of squatted over there where you were, but it worked out good for me.
Well, good.
Chinatown Band, they liked my idea. It's about God and music and nothing else. And it just so happened, that guy, those two guys that were printing the T-shirts for Truck Stop?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The older guy has been a musician for Disneyland for like 20 years, and he just was doing that because it was a slow season. And so we talked music quite a bit. It was really good.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, the vet ran good. Cost me $700 to get an oil change when I got back. I couldn't believe that. And
yeah, it's pretty crazy when you could spend more on a car service than you can on a truck service these days.
Yeah. But I'm driving it to the Rogue Food Fest, the Rogue Food Conference. I can't wait.
Oh, good.
It's, May 17th and 18th. It's on a Friday and a Saturday, right smack dab in the middle of May.
Yeah.
17th and 18th. Yeah.
I wish you would move it to either earlier in the spring, like right around Matt's would be perfect if I could just shoot over there right after Matt's and then come home, or later in the fall, but summer is like, I have a trip this week. I have to leave tomorrow for Phoenix, and I'm going to be down there till probably Sunday. And then I'm done. I don't travel in the summertime, especially now. I have 2 gardens to get planted, and I do not like to miss one day of summertime here in the Gorge. It's the best summers ever, so I'm just not traveling in the summer anymore.
That's a great idea. Last year at the Rogue Food Conference, I went up and I asked Joel. It was on a Saturday when everybody was having lunch. They serve a lunch there, and I went up and asked Joel if I could play my mandolin and have people, video it or whatever and send it to Kevin Rutherford. So I told him I'd be here. I want to send him a proof of life video. So that's what I'm going to do this year.
Oh,
Hopefully
good.
somebody will send you a video of me walking. I'm bringing something nobody's ever done before.
What's that?
And these are violins that are made to carry in your truck. Okay, they fit. You put them right in the Freightliner, and I always had a Freightliner in that closet that holds your shirts and everything.
Okay.
You don't have a case. You just stick it in there. That way, it's real easy to grab.
Got it.
And it doesn't get bounced around. It's actually better than having a case. So anyway, I build them so they're roadworthy. I make them so they can play. So anyway, I'm going to take them there in my vat. I hope to have about 5. I'm just going to show them off, see what kind of reaction I get. Because like I say, nobody's really doing this.
Got it.
Could I put in a plug for that guy that the guy that was printing T-shirts over there? He teaches guitar on YouTube, and his name's Damon Aaron.
Got it. All right. Hey, Ron, I got to move along. We've got trucking calls. I've got to get to them. I may be wrapping this up early today, but there's still plenty of room to get in. Hit that call now button on your app or dial 855-950-3835. Let's get to another call. Hold on one second. My whole screen there we go. Let's go to Indiana. Sam, welcome to the program. Whoa, Sam, bring your head back inside the window. There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's that?
That's better. What's on your mind today?
I was going to talk about the guy there that wanted to trade his freshly overhauled truck off for wanted to get better fuel mileage. And it seems like everybody that calls you, nobody knows their specs. So I don't see how they can ever expect you to come up with a logical answer.
It seems to be becoming a pattern. It used to be that when people called, they knew we got to have transmission final ratio at least. A model number would be better so I could look it up. But if you can tell me for sure the transmission final ratio is, 0.86, then I can make a really good guess that it's a single overdrive. But without having a rear end ratio or without knowing exactly which transmission, my next question would be tire size, but I know not to even bother asking if they don't know the rear ends. So I don't know why that seems to be more of a pattern now that people call and they're missing information. But I can't do much with that.
Well, to me, the first thing with the specs would be, are you financially ready to get rid of a truck that you know something about? And spend a lot of money and get into another truck that you don't know anything about?
This was an easy one as far as that goes. No, this one was an easy one. Well, what if the motor blows up in the truck you have?
That's what I mean. Are you financially ready for all this?
Well, But no, I just want to clarify, because that was not a question for me. He said he could trade even. We know we've got a 20-plus-year-old truck, so it's more likely to suffer some sort of catastrophic failure than a 2020 truck. And we know even with the wrong specs, we could save $20,000 a year on fuel. With the right specs, we might save $25,000 a year and $5,000 more on maintenance. So this replacing his current truck is a no-brainer. I don't even have to think about that. He's got a flat top. He's got a big extended frame. He's getting 5-something to the gallon, and there's not much we're going to do to improve it. And I still worry about why this thing went so wrong that we had to rebuild it at 600,000 miles. That's not a good thing for me. So replacing the truck as a question I was already past that. We should replace this truck, but I can't give him an answer on which truck to even think about buying without all of the specs.
True. I was just wondering there, because it seemed like everybody wanted the information, but nobody had the correct information to give you.
Yep, we definitely have to have details. And like I said, it's getting more and more complicated. You know, when we used to deal with the big three, Cat, Cummins, Detroit, early electronics, pre-emission, you could spec all three of those with virtually the same driveline. You could do a 10-speed, you could do a 13-speed, you could do direct, you could do an overdrive. You could make it work, and you couldn't really build it exactly like we wanted anyway. We didn't have the transmissions or the differentials. Now we're still dealing with those trucks. We're dealing with some mechanical trucks. We're dealing with early emission trucks. We're dealing with the next generation of emissions after 2010. And then we're into the modern trucks where we have some really good options for downspeeding, but we downspeed a DD15 different, a DD13, a D13, a TC, a non-TC. We've got multiple transmission options. It is getting much more difficult for me to do it on a quick phone call and not miss something. So that is that's going to become part of the group coaching more so than I can give you general guidelines here. Sure, go look at that truck. I probably won't make a whole lot of yes, that's the truck I would buy recommendations. Not without having more time, and that's what the group coaching is all about. So kind of to give you a rundown, and this is a good time because we are going to be doing a CMC preview today. So there's still time to sign up for the year-long CMC program. It kicks off next week, I believe. So one of the biggest questions I get is, what am I going to learn? Well, it's a year's worth of material. It's hard to summarize in a phone call. So today we will do a Zoom webinar. I don't know what time it is. I should probably ask somebody that. Morgan, Lisa, somebody send me the details on the CMC preview today. So I will go through kind of start to finish the big picture. Here's where we're going to start. Here's what we're going to cover. Here's the point of the whole program. Here's an outline of everything you're going to learn over the next year. I am really happy where we are now as a company. My week is really busy, but it's I like the way we have things set up. So, and we've set it up this way on purpose. And here's what I really like about this. So we have the everyday radio show, 2 to 3 hours a day. So somewhere between 10 and 15 hours most weeks. Hold on one second. All right. 2 to 3 hours most days, 10 to 15 hours most weeks, where you can ask virtually any question you want. Sure, we have the days where it's only health, only maintenance, but we have several free-for-all days. Okay, so here's the details on the CMC Live preview. It is today, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. So go right to the website, Let's Truck. Hold on, let me check which website. Let's Truck or Tribe. Got to figure out where you can sign up for this. We try to make that as easy as possible, but it's hopefully it's on the Let's Truck site, because it's on the Tribe site. You have to be a member. We'll get that all figured out, though, and I'll get the details to you on that. So I like the format of, we have the radio show where there's no charge whatsoever. You can ask me questions. I'll give you the best answer I can in the short amount of time that we have. And the fact that I don't have as many details and I don't have time to review a lot of details, but that's the first line of, you can reach out. I'll answer any question you want. That doesn't cost you anything. Then for the group coaching, you can get really in-depth answers where you can submit details ahead of time, and I will spend time going over it, and I will work with you as long as you're in the program till we solve your issue or figure out which truck you should buy specifically. I'll review things like rig dig reports, oil samples, ECM reports. I'll dig deep into it, and that's basically $75 a month, and you can quit and start anytime you want. And then now with the CMC, I will be doing mostly teaching. Very few questions during the CMC process other than on the very specific material we're covering that week. So there will be Q&A, but only on the material. It won't be an open where, well, Kevin was talking about buying trucks, so I want him to review this truck. We're not going to do that on the CMC because I would never get through all of the material. But you can ask specific questions about the material presented that week. There's going to be homework every week on the CMC. So between those three, the CMC where I can just teach and get as much material out as possible. If you have more specific questions, you can call the radio show. And if you need really detailed, deep answers, you can join the coaching program for a month at a time. I don't know of any other way to be able to help people more. And the Tribe sites, you can always ask questions there. You get answers from the Tribe. I am back to being more active on that as well. All right, it looks like the team made it really easy for me. I just needed to figure out what it was. If you go to letstruck.com, let me go there just to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. Letstruck.com, you should land right on the page that has the banner, and it says CMC Live, doing the hard work requires dedication. Learn more today. Click on that and you can get signed up, and then you'll get a link, and we will be doing that in about 2 hours after about 3 hours after we quit today. I am going to knock off at 9 today. I need to get ready for that. So, all right. Hold on, I do need to check one other thing. So, Lisa, if you're listening, that link takes me to Let's Truck Tribe. Are they going to have to be a Let's Truck Tribe member to sign up for this? I'm trying to make sure we get all the details right here. This is partly my issue because I've been trying to get ready for one more trip. Okay, it says it's open for everybody. So I guess you do not have to be a Tribe member to sign up. Okay. All right, let's get back to some phone calls because they are coming in. Let's go to Missouri. Amel, welcome to the program.
Hey, how you doing this morning, Kevin?
Good. What's on your mind?
Okay, on the return on investment from older trucks to newer trucks or classics to hoods or however you want to put it. I mean, that valuation is crazy to me. I mean, to think that
me too.
I don't care if the resale value, if you buy one for 100 and you can sell it for 50 3-4 years from now, I still would rather buy something for 40 to 50, sell it for 10, and pick up $20,000 or $30,000 in fuel.
I completely agree with you.
I would appreciate it if you would stop preaching this, because you are going to affect the possibility, the price differential.
Yeah,
we really need a clandestine movement to push for the value of hoods. We need the value way high, and we need plastic trucks cheap.
I
And we just need
completely
to
agree
tell
with you.
people how great
Yes.
that W9 is. And everyone needs to just, I mean, they're collector's items. Everyone should pay $100,000 for them and stay away from my plastic trucks, please.
I completely agree with you, but we have gotten to the point again somehow where people have lost their mind and they will say almost anything to justify their position. And I don't even want to argue with anybody anymore. I actually saw somebody post that they would make more money after 4 years of owning a hood based on resale value than they would operational cost. That's just delusional thinking. The math never pencils out.
It's great. It makes the industry look good, and they need to do it. They need to show us how great it is.
All right, I'll work on that. I'll start telling more people to snap up all these classics before they're all gone. Just get out there and buy them.
Seriousness. I mean, you know, you talk about the market. Like I'm recovering a load for $10,000 to Maryland and back today, and I pulled an old truck off my yard. It's one we bought in 2020 for $30,000. It had 600,000 miles on it. It's got 930 right now. It's averaging 7.5 miles per gallon. But if I traded it in, the price they offered me was $5,000.
The market is so screwy, and it has been for a couple years. Here's the other thing that people do. They look at the current situation. This is not something they've ever really paid attention to before, and then they make assumptions. And they make assumptions that these hoods have always sold for this much more. They haven't. This is a new post-COVID phenomenon. The resale value on a hood to an aerodynamic truck used to be pretty close once they got past that 800,000 mile mark, even 600,000. There was a small differential, and honestly, you could trace the differential back to the original cost anyway. If you were the one that bought those trucks new, you had paid the premium for the hood. And when you penciled it out, it was a horrible investment, even if it was bringing more. Now, today I will say they bring stupid prices, but the math still doesn't pencil out because unless you own one that you bought a long time ago, you're going to be paying that premium to get one of these trucks. So how does it matter that the resale value in 3 or 4 years is going to be higher? So what?
But you've discussed it before. The only time period I think it makes sense is if you've got like some operation that requires a PTO or extended idling that might change the dynamic. But in just general freight, I mean, that 10,000, people cry about the emissions repairs. And to be perfectly frank, you know, a new one box, maybe $10,000 to $12,000. You know, I pay that for a fuel pump sometimes if it goes catastrophic. That's not a repair you shouldn't be prepared for.
That's a good point.
If that's going to take you out and you're not ready, then you really need to rethink what you're doing anyways.
Yeah, $10,000 repairs are nothing like what they used to be. That used to be a really major cost to spend on any truck. And in today's world, I don't care whether it's old and you're going to have to put another block or an engine in it. You're going to spend 30 these days. Or you have a one box go, you might spend 15 or 20. Getting any truck fixed today is way more expensive. And we are finally seeing now that if you spec the modern trucks right, so 16 and beyond, the overall cost per mile to maintain those trucks is lower than that sweet spot in trucks that we liked late 90s, early 2000s. Those trucks are really expensive to run these days, maintenance-wise.
Well, the 20s are, you know, dirt cheap, allegedly. I think they may be really expensive. Please don't listen to me. It may not be accurate. But the 20s, I've seen some with the pricing right now. I was looking at some that were 400 and some odd thousand miles, spec'd perfectly, never idled, 8.5 to 9 miles a gallon average with APUs and another year or two of warranty left through Detroit.
Yeah.
So right around $60,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And, you know, that number is so low for that compared to trying to run something that's 20 years old. And, you know, like your caller said, if he was starting to hit higher maintenance costs and you could make an even swap, I think it's a no-brainer. You know, you don't have to get into details. It's
exactly.
You know, it's really down to numbers.
Yep. Yeah, it's a
That was it.
changing
I just
market.
wanted to make sure you did not dispel our great hoods, that they will improve the image of the industry. Our best operators will run around with them and be great, emissaries to improve our image. And I think more people should get them.
Neil, I don't think you've got to worry about this. I mean, based on what I'm seeing on certain areas of social media these days, nobody listens to me anyway.
Well, as long as you don't end up in jail with me, we're good.
I think I should be all right. So far, the FBI hasn't been able to catch up with me. Even though every time I travel, I post everywhere I'm going. I post when I'm home. For some reason, they can't seem to find me to arrest me.
I will just say this. I find it funny because people are very offended by mean tweets or being challenged. And a lot of those people claim to be MAGA. So what the hell do they think is going to happen when Trump's president?
Oh, yeah, this should get interesting.
I mean, mean tweets will be cool again.
Yeah, this should get interesting.
But anyways, I will let you go
hold on. Let me address a comment I just got, because it seems to me like we just covered this. I just got and this is just chats coming in from the live video stream. There's chats all over. You could send me a message on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Well, we're not on YouTube today. But it all comes through. And here's the comment. But you're forgetting about a truck, say 2016 or newer. If the DPF system takes a dump, it's 10 to 20 to fix it unless you delete it. First off, do not delete it. We have not recommended that for well over a decade. We're almost 15 years now. Do not delete these things. And yes, it could be a $10,000 repair. We just talked about that. Could be 20. But you're not getting away any cheaper on these pre-emission trucks. We're watching overall cost per mile on thousands of trucks, not hundreds, thousands. And it is now less expensive overall cost per mile on maintenance to operate a new modern truck than it is a pre-emission truck across the board. That includes these big emission repairs. But if you spec them right, operate them right, use the catalyst and some of the additives we've talked about, we're not seeing those kind of major repairs until close to 1 million miles or after.
I hate to preach a product you push or people you have sell, but we don't use the catalyst because it's hard to do with company drivers.
It is. I get it.
I discussed that before.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
But we do the diesel force. I do sell it to other shops in the area, and we do it ourselves on our own equipment. And I've used it and then came off it for a year or two, and then we went back on because it eliminated most of our turbo repairs and our EGR cooler repairs.
Excellent.
Which EGR cooler are frightening because they do have the potential to wipe out a DPF filter.
Yes.
If you catch things early, though, I mean, we hit 1 million miles. I think we're looking at buying our first one box now on one truck. And normally we don't. The only reason I am is because we put a new engine in the truck.
There you go.
So at 1.2 million miles, I don't think the one box is that dramatic. But if you're that concerned, if you get a truck spec'd right, then you start to see minor issues at 800,000 miles. Just put a new one on.
Yeah,
preventatively, if it's that difficult for you to stomach.
And we also have to remember that we have to look at all of what we're talking about here. We're talking about buying 2020 trucks for the same price they're getting for early 2000s and late 90s trucks. There is a tremendous amount of value in that truck. And if we have to put $20,000 or $25,000 into a one box, we're still not talking about an outrageous expense. That one box, if everything's right, should last us another 750,000 miles or more. And when you look at the cost per mile, it's minimal.
Well, the 5 of the newer ones we bought last year, literally nothing. We've done nothing. We've done a fuel pump.
Right.
We've done a couple little things to them over the year. I mean, and our fuel mileage on those trucks, well over 8. Pulling reefers, pulling heavy, pulling in bad weather. I mean, they're just, I don't get it. I don't see why the value is so low on them.
I know.
But I appreciate it. I'm glad it is.
You know,
I hope it stays that way.
One of the one of the articles I was going to cover today, and I don't know what I did with it. I must have closed the tab or something. Oh, no, here it is. This is interesting, too. Talk about a goofy market. Here's the headline from FreightWaves. Tractor demand no longer necessarily a gauge for market health. So here's what's happening that's really odd, and it's why the used trucks are cheaper. Fleets are still ordering a lot of new trucks. And everybody expected that market to collapse, and it's not. It's unseasonably strong right now, 20% over this time last year. The fleets are ordering 20% more new trucks this year. I don't understand why, unless they just got stuck in one of those replacement cycles, and they have to. Sometimes that happens. But that means the fleet trucks are being turned in. That's what's keeping the price of those newer fleet trucks with that 400,000 to 600,000 mile range. It's keeping those so cheap. And that is the sweet spot for a good owner-operator or small fleet. All right. I'm not sure what happened. Everything went quiet there for a second. Hopefully, looks like all my audio is fine. Maybe Anil hit a dead zone. Let's try New Orleans. Mark, are you there? Heard a bunch of static. Oh, there you are.
I think you. Hello.
There you are. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Mark, I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm having really a hard time hearing you. I don't know what happened.
All right. I'm going to put I'm going to put you back in the queue, and I'll figure out. Morgan, if you could check Mark's line, I'll try Paul. Paul, can you hear me?
Can you hear?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. It was Mark then. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it's his fault.
It's his fault. Damn car haulers. We're just lousy with car haulers around here these days. We're going to have to turn this into the car hauler show soon. You certainly have.
Yeah, so the guy with the Peterbilt that's looking to trade up or across, maybe you could or trade down if you want to go on money, because if he can sell that Peterbilt on the open market rather than trade it, there's a chance that he's going to put a whole lot of cash in his pocket. Because people that are going to buy that truck, they don't care that it's old. They don't care that it had to have the engine rebuilt early. They just see a flat top 379 with a new motor. Oh, yeah, I'm going to pay 90,000 or whatever.
Whatever is true. I can't even begin to guess at how much those trucks sell for because it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. So, but another company truck that he could look at, that there's always a good supply of them, is those Maverick Freightliner Cascadias. They're spec'd out pretty good to pull a dump wagon, mid-roof, and everything.
There was a time where I almost started a used truck lot with nothing but Maverick trucks because they've always done a good job of speccing their stuff and taking care of it. I should go back and look at those again. I haven't looked at them in quite a while.
Yeah, well, that dog at Freightliner, that's who they get them through. And they got dealerships in Texas and all over. And you go down there to the border, and when Maverick trade them in, they just spread them out around the countryside. So they're everywhere. You can find them anywhere. They're like a cigarette butt. You can find them anywhere. So,
yeah, that's right.
Yep. So I've been using that Pittsburgh Power, the Flashpoint. I started using that.
Okay, that's the new one, right?
Yeah, the new one. Yeah.
Okay.
Max mileage for 6 years nearly.
Yeah.
And I just started on the Flashpoint after Mid-America. So that first week I was in a different area, and then I was a little fat, and then I had a lot of wind to deal with. Well, yesterday I went down to Texas from my house, and I got 6.76 miles per gallon. So
nice.
But it just seems, and I was cruising at 64 yesterday, empty, and I got 6.76 miles a gallon.
Wow.
Which was more than normal. So, but it seems like the truck runs smoother. It seemed like it's quiet. It smooths it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we see a lot of that.
When I'm cruising along on the flat, you got your instant readout on your miles per gallon.
Right.
I'm seeing numbers there that I don't normally see.
Well, that's good.
Whereas, so that's a good sign.
It
So
sure is.
I guess I'll keep trying it out. So
All right. Let
and
us
then
know.
One more thing.
Sure.
If you sign up for your text messages, Kevin, you would have had that information right in front of you because I got the text message when your show started. So.
Oh, excuse
So,
Still get one of
right,
those
I'll let you
surprise
get the
coughs
next
once in a
match.
while. All right. I probably should sign up for our text messages because I seem to be the one that doesn't know any of the details about any of this stuff. I try not to use brain cells for that. Let's go to Ohio this time. Brian, welcome.
Morning, Kevin. Can you hear me?
I can. What's on your mind today?
Kevin. Okay, hey, I'm speccing a new truck, a new 579 Peterbilt. That's what I have now. And just trying to come up with a gear ratio, the salesmen think you're nuts.
I know. They still don't get it.
I'm in Northeast Ohio here, where you grew up. And what I got now is a 579, 18 speed with 355s, 22.5s.
Okay.
And I had a hard time talking him in to get the drop down to 308s. And I would like to go taller than that, wouldn't I?
So give me the overall specs that you're looking at buying. Start from the beginning and tell me what you're speccing out.
A 565 Cummins, 2050 torque, 18 speed, 22.5 rubber.
So is the 18 speed, I'm going to guess, a double overdrive.
Yeah, the final ratio is 0.73.
So you might be fine with 308s. The reason being, if you go much taller than that, you really eliminate 18th gear almost completely. And 17th even becomes a little too tall. So I think when you're going with the double overdrive, the 308s would be better.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to run, around this area here in direct instead of overdrive. Like now, overdrive on 1400 at 65 mile an hour.
So if we want to run, so if you could look to see what they have in maybe the 270 or 280 range, and that would probably get you. I think you'd be really efficient at like 55 to 60 with like a 280 something. If we go all the way down to 264, you could be really efficient in direct. And then I guess 17th would still be usable. 18th would just, unless you're bobtailing and the cops are chasing you and you didn't want to stop, 18th becomes almost unusable. Now, here's another question.
Right.
Do they offer an 18-speed single overdrive? I can't keep up with what everybody offers these days.
I don't know. I would have to, I'll write it down and I'll have to check it.
Yeah, I would. And let me just ask you this question, just because I always do.
Yeah.
Why an 18 and not a 13? Are you going to split the bottom gears?
No, but the ability for 4 reverses.
Got it. Okay.
Is why I used to run 13s and the last 2 had 18s. And it gives me more versatility in reverse.
Got it. Okay.
That's
so,
might sound dumb, but basically that's why.
The higher we go with that rear end ratio, the more important that becomes. So at 308s, probably not that big of an issue. At 264, it does become an issue. Reverse we'd like to get a lower gear if we can. I would think that I would try to get them down to 264s. And I would see if I could get a single overdrive 18.
Yeah, that would be a better setup.
308s are workable.
Just like this one.
And again, we're just not going to get this thing downsped the way we talk about the other engines. These drive lines and engines. If we can get this thing down to where we could cruise at 11, that we're probably don't want to go much lower than that. Right.
And the reason I stay with this, the shop I work out of, park at, he has 50 of these trucks, Cummins, 579 Peterbilts, the computers, we know how to work on them.
Right.
And, the shop is so important.
Having a good shop is important today, really important, and it seems to get more important all the time, so I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, the the Volvo dealer and the Peterbilt dealer at Canton are, 5 miles apart, but we work on Peterbilts at our shop, so, and have all the, parts and everything.
Yeah. No, that matters.
Okay. Yeah, that's big. He can plug into it at our shop and tell me what I need to fix, and I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, the best setup I ever had shop-wise was the last 10 years or so I spent in Orlando. I could walk over to one of the best Detroit garages I've ever used, and they were good the whole time I was over there. It was we almost shared a parking lot. I mean, you'd roll through our gate and right over into their shop, and they were fantastic. The Volvo dealer, I ran a lot of Volvos. They weren't so great. And then I switched to Freightliner, and the Freightliner dealer wasn't all that great. But I had an independent shop that did everything except my engine work. And it worked really well for me.
Yeah, that's the situation I'm in. I park at their shop, and
that's nice. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I get some get some more details on the specs there. See if they'll do the 264, 270s. Would anything in the 270 range would be fine. And then see what the options are for the transmissions. Let's try Mark again. Mark, we figured out it was totally your fault.
That probably. I mean, I was just going along there, and it was like everything just went to complete crap. And,
now you sound fine.
So I don't know. I had a strong signal, but who knows? Anyway, so
it's the. I'm sure it's the Eclipse.
I'm over here between New Orleans and Slidell right now, so I'm going away from the Eclipse.
Well, it's going to affect all of us.
I almost took a load to Austin over the weekend, and I'm glad I didn't because I didn't want to get caught up in all that mess.
Yeah, what a mess.
In 4 weeks or thereabouts, 3 weeks or whatever, there's a organization in car hauling called the Auto Hauling Association of America, and all the big haulers belong to it. Well, I got accepted the other day for a membership.
Oh, good.
And I applied 3 times. And I guess the only reason I don't know why he accepted me other than the fact I paid full price to go to the 3-day convention or whatever in Vegas at the end of this month, beginning of next month, because I figured the chance to go out there and hang out with my customers and some people that could be customers and all like that, to build more relationships with these people so they actually know who I am in person versus over the phone. So,
I think that's worth it. Yep.
Yeah, and so because I remember you were going to that TIA meeting and you told some guy a couple of years ago to go to that, and he went there and he was like the odd guy out, and he ended up being the most popular guy there
by far.
So and it's just another way to strengthen relationships out here and set yourself above the competition. So
the other thing about
go ahead.
So the TCA, the Truckload Carriers Association, has been through multiple changes over the years. They used to have like segments within the TCA, like Open Deck, Tanker, Auto Hauler, and then several of those kind of split off and became their own. I think that belonging to almost any association that does annual meetings, like just state trucking associations, can be a huge help, and you almost never find single truck carriers belonging to those. I became very familiar with the state trucking associations because I ended up on Florida's road team when I was still driving, and that was all run through the Florida Trucking Association. And and then the more I started speaking, as long as I didn't want to get paid much, I could speak at almost any state trucking association meeting. They're always looking for speakers. They don't have a whole lot of money. So when I needed to just get out there, get my name out, make all those connections, I would speak at a state association almost every month around the country. And those are great organizations to belong to. And then when you can find an organization specifically for your segment, I think it's a great idea to belong. What is the annual membership for you?
Like $300 or $400.
Oh,
and,
what a bargain!
It was like $800. Yeah, it was $800 to go as a member, but I went ahead and paid the full price as a non-member because I'm like, I'm gonna go whether he accepts me or not. That
Good.
way I can go out there and because all the head of logistics for all these major manufacturers, they're all going to be there speaking and talking. So there'll be a chance to not only them, but the carriers I work with and all that I haven't actually had a chance to sit down with and visit with. I'll be able to, say, hey, I'm one of your sub haulers. And just, buy them a drink, buy them something, whatever, just, make conversation and just build, as you say, just build relationships. And, it's like, I just think it's really, to me, it's really cheap. It's just 3 days out of my work schedule to run out there and go to it. And they have like a couple of, I think they have like 3 or 4 meetings a year. They have a spring, a summer, and a fall, I believe. So
nice.
This one's going to be in Vegas and at the Caesar's Palace. And so, like I said, that was, my insurance lady said they all go, and she's like, Mark, are you going to this? I said, well, I thought about it. She goes, you need to go to it. And so I'm like, okay. So I put the ball, I just decided, well, I'm going to go to it because it's just, I think it'll be completely beneficial. So,
excellent.
Just going to, anyway. So one other thing is like, I bought this gadget, for lack of a better word. It's called a Hot Logic. We were on a phone call the other day, me, Paul, and this other car hauler, and he's like, he's in your
Is that
class.
the little lunchbox cooker?
What's that?
Is that the little lunchbox cooker kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like, it was $40, and I've already used it
got
the last
one.
2 days. And I put some meat in it when I go to bed, wake up, you eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are, they run off a very small inverter. I think they'll run off the cigarette lighter, won't they?
They will, but it's just I plug it into my inverter. I put the generator on at night, so the generator's running everything at night. So, I just got it, and it's sitting over there, and I stuck a pound of hamburger meat in it. Last night, the night before, I put a steak in it just to see how it worked. And it's like I put it in when I went to bed, woke up, done. So it's just for somebody that's cramped in space like me with this car hauler, it's like it's perfect.
Yeah. So, I like that. All right, hey. I'm going to cut you loose. I'm going to wrap this up. If you are interested at all in the CMC, even if you're not, you may find today's presentation interesting. 3:00 Eastern time. That's coming up in just about 3 hours, a little less. We will run through a preview. That'll be a Zoom meeting. I'll be sharing my screen so you can follow along. We will record it, but we'd love to. I'm not sure where, if we'll probably post it somewhere, maybe in the Tribe site. But it'd be better if you were there live. So go to letstruck.com. You'll see it right there at the top. Click and sign up. We would love to see you. I get the question all the time, over and over and over. I want to sign up for the CMC, but I want to know what I'm going to learn. This is your chance. It's not something I can explain during a radio show, and when I try, people get upset because they want me to go to calls. So now's your chance. Head on over there. Don't miss it. We'll see you then. We'll also be back here tomorrow with the Power Hour, which will be my last show of this week. So I will be traveling tomorrow night down to Phoenix. I've got the TIA convention I'm speaking. I have a couple podcast interviews I'm going to do in person while I'm down there. And I'm going to spend all day Friday over at Dr. Wolfson's clinic doing a full workup. I'm getting head to toe. We're going to check everything and see what's going on and see what I can do to improve a few things. We'll see you then. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy. Always do the hard work and master the journey.